I had an incident that I want to talk about. That's about how to deal with delusion. But before that, I want to touch on a phrase that I picked up from The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. He's talking about the issue of internal to external. His word is a little bit different, but the concept is the same. The external world is something we learn how to live in the society using the brain and figure out what can be done. But if we don't use our brain well, then we get trapped and go into delusionary thought and lots of suffering happens. So the internal world, or the direction internal to ourselves, is, you can call it the spiritual, but trying to figure out the root of who we are so that we don't lose the home base. And that's the discussion of the external to internal. And I think he used the cross of the Christian mythology. I don't know if that's the term, that the horizontal direction is the external and the vertical direction is internal to the core of our being. That's what this is about. So let me just read that. This is page 74 of The Power of Now. Questioner asks, does it matter whether we achieve our outer purpose, whether we succeed or fail in the world? Answer to that is, it will matter to you as long as you haven't realized your inner purpose. After that, the outer purpose is just a game that you may continue to play simply because you enjoy. It is also possible to fail completely in your outer purpose and at the same time totally succeed in your inner purpose, or the other way around, which is actually more common, outer riches and inner poverty, or to gain the world and lose your soul, as Jesus puts it. Ultimately, of course, every other purpose is doomed to fail sooner or later, simply because it is subject to the law of impermanence of all things. The sooner you realize that your outer purpose cannot give you lasting fulfillment, the better. When you have seen the limitations of your outer purpose, you give up your unrealistic expectation that it should make you happy, and you make it subservient to your inner purpose. Well done. Just recently I posted a video about nirvana, awakening, by bringing different cases, examples. Most recent example, Saichi, a layman from Shin Buddhism called Myokonin, who appeared to have accomplished or achieved this nirvana state, which actually I can relate to. So that topic has been quite interesting. It's, of course, is a topic of the internal dimension of finding who we are at the core. So while that was going on, the incident I was talking at the beginning was the game of Go, or ego, the black and white stones they play. It's a strategy game. And I have played this game years, long time ago from my young days with my father. And I enjoy it. But this game was very tight, and I get a little nervous and upset, and I shouldn't be, obviously. This is an external issue, it's just a game. But the game becomes serious once you get caught up in it. And when you play the game on the internet, the opponent and me play one move to the other, and each movement you have to do within 30 seconds or something. So it's a time race of figuring out what is to be done. And there are lots of lessons to be learned, because if you're caught up in some specific move but don't see the overall picture, then you are not making a strategic choice, good strategy to play the game. And I was I made one mistake, and it turned out at the end I lost just one space or one stone. It's very almost an even game, but I lost it because of time pressure. And while I was doing this game, usually it lasts more than 1 hour, I was calm and peaceful and then get more interested. And he was much better than me, but we came close and the strategy of this and that. And then I get caught up with this one move, and I was spending so much time on it without thinking the other move I could have chosen, which I found later. So because of that, I lost the game. So the point of this is that that's the external issue, the game I played. But it's okay, it's just a go game. But still, I reflected and I was jolted, and maybe my blood pressure was higher and the heart was beating. And it's fun, but it could be more than fun. And the realization is that as we start to use the brain, as in the case of the game of Go, but anything we do in this horizontal direction, external direction of how you live your life, it's interesting from your younger days to play, and you can learn this, master the skill, and move on to the next and next. So it's our nature. But again, when we lose that, I was picturing if I was involved in the stock market, selling and buying, and I hear many people have a heart attack or stroke, whatever the things that can happen because of the stress. And that's what the world can bring us to. So this topic of internal, external, or horizontal, vertical, whatever the way you call it, is very real. And that's part of the reason I keep posting the YouTube about my experience in life and relating to the spiritual part of how I'm living, even to the point of nirvana experience and having often visiting nirvana at your will almost. And I found it so fascinating. So if I may just summarize, again, what Eckhart Tolle said makes sense. It's a game, but we can lose it. And it's not just a game of Go, but it could be relationship, investment, business, and many more. Of course, you can also relate it to your health, because whatever you do affects your health. So how to navigate your life? Not just caught up in the external, but have the base. I call it home base. Sometimes use the word like melting into the nature. And I've been doing it for years and even have the awakening experience. And that's the point that I shared also, that this nirvana experience is very blissful sensation. So you know exactly how wonderful it is. And when you are in that, being with the root of who you are, then you have the spaciousness, stillness, and transparency. The whole universe is with you vibrating. It sounds crazy, but that's feasible, and that's I experienced too. And the Sai Chi, one example I refer to, is sharing in his poem. So that's one, but the other one is the game of Go and my blood pressure, whatever. So that's the reality of the game I'm playing. It's an important game, serious game. I want to learn the lesson, go through plan, do, check, act process, or Shira Samadhi Panya I mentioned about, continuously evolving and not lose track of it. And at the end, at least theoretically speaking, we are that miracle being produced within us to live. And all the passage we can take can be following the law of nature, as I call it, or Amida power, or Jesus, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. It's just the word. What's important is the experiential part of it, and have that somewhat ingrained, because we have that to come onto this earth to live, because of miracle. So miracles with us, whether you call God or infinite intelligence or compassion, it's all of that. And that is living and functioning within us. So I'm just sharing the sense I've got from this game and from Saichi and enlightenment and nirvana and the journey I'm taking. I call it the new hero's journey. It's a heroic effort of trying to find the passage, navigating in this external, internal, fluctuating situation, some more immediate than others. But whatever the case is, that's what we are given. And we have that potential to be realized, to sense the miraculous power within us and make a good judgment. Of course you make wrong judgment as much as kids do that. And as adults, we still make wrong judgment. So as Eckhart Tolle mentioned, maybe just to conclude, there is those two dimensions, and even if we gain the world, but if we lose the soul, what is it? So hopefully not telling what to do, because it's just the mind using the word to convince whatever. But we want to find the ultimate miracles living in us and practice it, live with it, and keep learning and executing the passage, whatever the term is. It's a game, it's a serious game. It's not a game from the point of the God or the way of the universe, it's just natural being. Even the delusion is just a natural part of what is manifested by wrong choice of the mind. But if we see that, and I'm saying to myself, as well as to share if anybody is listening, I think this is quite interesting. Maybe because I'm 74 years old and I have time to look at myself, my past, now, the bad habit pattern, whatever I've developed, I worked on, and what is happening now. It's interesting to play with the miracles of the God, the law of nature, whatever the term is, and be able to find the passage. But the important point that I felt is there's a will of universe, as the word, thy will be done. Thy will, universe will be done. And if we can align our will, my will, to that universe of will, and use the intellect and have the sense, feeling related to that will, and balance out, navigate our life with compassion and wisdom. I think we are here for that purpose and having fun. As crazy it may sound like. Thank you. By the way, when I say thank you, it may mean I'm thanking whoever is listening, but I'm thanking you, the universe, that I can connect to or relate to or bounce back and forth and exchange ideas. I know I'm talking to myself, but like the Eckhart's eye, the one I talk to God is the God looking at me talking toward God. So there may be some kind of a connection that assures me, hopefully, to keep on moving in the right track. Thank you again.